Okay, so this video is for your first step of rotation station number 2. For this little mini practice piece, you're going to be creating a 2-layered piece using a high contrast monoprint and then a linear drawing on vellum paper. So first, you have to create your monoprint. This is a jelly plate, and it's like a flexible, it feels almost like a really firm jello, so you can create prints of different things on top of it really quickly and easily. We have water-soluble ink over here, and most likely you guys will just have black. This one has a gradient from a shade of blue to black. And you'll use a brayer. This is a handheld brayer where you will just use that to apply the ink to the jelly plate. If you have more than one color, like I have a little bit of blue going over to the black over here, when you add it on, you have to pay attention to how you're using the brayer so that you're not messing up your colors. Knowing that this is not going to be necessarily like a printmaking project, probably will just have black sitting out for you guys. And then you have a little bit of working time. So to create a monoprint, you're basically picking up ink onto your surface, which we're going to be using just regular drawing paper to pick this ink up. But we want to create, just using shape, we want to create a print that is high contrast. Since we're using black, that would mean white is your other value. So we're using shapes as masks to block the ink to print on the paper in some different areas. So I'm going to have paper where you can cut your own masks if you want a particular shape, but I'll also have like all these little guts from stencils that you can use. So I've rolled my ink onto my jelly plate, and then I've got these shapes that I can place on here. And you just need to know while you're placing these that you are going to have white, since we're printing on white paper, you will have white in any of the places where you lay these shapes down onto your jelly plate. So you can just make decisions on where you want to create the shape-based composition. This print that you're creating is going to just be a background to the drawing that you'll end up putting on vellum. So we might put one more over here. Okay, so when you're ready to make your print, you've got your shapes placed down for your masking. You'll take a clean piece of your paper to make your print on, and I'm just going to lay that down right on top of the jelly plate. And then you can use your fingers if there's not enough at the table, but this is called a baren, and you use this to make sure that all of your paper, these are especially helpful on larger prints, makes contact with your jelly plate. It also helps because if you're using your hands, you're not going to have consistent firm pressure, and with the baren you do. So I'm going to press that down. And then too, especially if you have some masks that have little details, sometimes it helps to rub your finger around where you know that those shapes are placed down to make sure you get a nice print. If you're going for a grungy look, it doesn't really matter, but if you want a nice solid print, then I go over it with my hand. And then you'll pull your print like that. The ink is a little thicker than paint, so this will be wet for a minute, and you'll want to sit that to the side to let it dry. I would make a couple of prints, maybe like 2 or 3. All of your masks can just come off and sit to the side. We can reuse these many times over. And then it would be your turn to make your next print with the same process, or for the next person to print. So you would reapply your ink, lay down your masking to do a different print, and then place your paper, use the baren to make contact, and pull your print. That is step 1 for rotation station number 2.